friends! Eid Mubarak if you're celebrating, happy Friday if you're not, and by the time I post this video, happy Earth Day. In anticipation and honor of Earth Day, today's featured collection is Catalog of Unabashed Gratitude by Ross Gay. If you're a poet and you're exploring a particular subject, you're probably going to write a lot of poems about that subject. And then, when you do that, and especially if you're really good at writing about it, for better or worse, you'll become known for that particular subject. Over time, in numerous books, Ross Gay has come to be known for finding delight, particularly delight that arises at the intersection of gratitude and joy. But I think the reason Ross Gay ends up being so resonant is because he works hard to find that delight, that gratitude and joy. He manages to carry us to joy through themes that can feel especially dark, just because of that contrast. But he's an incredibly gifted poet and an incredibly generous and kind person, because he carries you to the end. He doesn't leave you in the dark stuff. And he's just as generous in person. I was lucky enough to first hear him read at the local public library. He actually opened for Jeffrey Davis during Jeffrey's book launch for Night Angler. And then the next morning, I attended a harvest workshop featuring Ross Gay, during which he led a group in 1 hour of guided volunteering in the beautiful gardens of Appleseeds, Inc. It's a local farm. And then he led us in a guided generative writing workshop. It was an incredible experience. Here I am with Ross Gay and the rest of the Open Mouth Literary Center team. We organized the event. In honor of Earth Day, I'm going to read you 2 of my favorite Ross Gay poems, and then I'm going to give you 3 prompts, because I also have an Earth Day prompt to share. This is Feet. Friends, mine are ugly feet. The body's common wreckage, stuffed into boots. The second toe on the left foot's crooked enough that when a child asks, "What's that?" of it, I can, without flinch or fear of doubt, lie that a cow stepped on it, which maybe makes them fear cows, for which I repent, in love as I am with those philosophical beasts, who would never smash my feet, nor sneer at them, the way my mother does. We always bought you good shoes, honey, she says. You can't blame us for those things. And for this, and other reasons, I have never indulged in the pleasure of flip-flops, shy or ashamed, digging my toes like 10 tiny ostriches into the sand at the beach with friends who I'm not sure love me, though I don't think Tina loved me. She liked me, I think, but said to me, as we sat on lawn chairs beside a pool where I lifeguarded and was meticulous at obscuring from view with a book or towel my screwy friends, "You have pretty feet," in that gaudy, cement mixer, Levittown accent that sends all the lemurs scaling my ribcage to sea. And she actually had pretty feet, and so I took this as a kindness incomparable, and probably fell a little bit in love with her for that afternoon, with the weird white streak in her hair, and her machine gun chatter, and her gum snapping, and so slid my feet from beneath my Power Man and Iron Fist comic book into the sun, for which they acted like plants, opening their tiny mouths to the food, hurtling to them through the solar system. And like plants, you could watch them almost smile, almost say thank you. You could watch them turn colors and be almost emboldened. None of which Tina saw, because she was probably digging in her purse, or talking about that hottie on the Real World, or yelling at some friend's little sister to put her ass in her trunks, or pouring the crumbs of her Fritos into her thrown open mouth. But do you really think I'm talking to you about my feet? Of course she's dead. Tina was her name, of leukemia, so I heard. Why else would I try sadly to make music of her unremarkable kindness? I am trying, I think, to forgive myself for something, I don't know what. But what I do know is that I love the moment when the poet says, I am trying to do this, or I am trying to do that. Sometimes it's a horseshit trick, but sometimes it's a way by which the poet says, I wish I could tell you, truly, of the little factory in my head, the smokestacks chuffing, the dandelions and purslane and willows of sweet clover prying through the blacktop. I wish I could tell you how inside is the steady mumble and clank of machines, but mostly, I wish I could tell you of the footsteps I hear, more than I can ever count, all of whose gaits I can discern by listening closely, which promptly disappear after being lodged again, here where we started, in the factory, where loss makes all things beautiful grow. Your first prompt is to think of a small but impactful kindness you've experienced in your life and write a poem where you explore the long-lasting impact it had on you. Next, because I don't want to end this on a sad note, I'm reading Sorrow Is Not My Name, which isn't in this book, but is one of my favorite Roskay poems. Sorrow is not my name, after Gwendolyn Brooks. No matter the pull toward brink, no matter the florid deep sleep awaits, there is a time for everything. Look, just this morning a vulture nodded his red grizzled head at me, and I looked at him, admiring the sickle of his beak. Then the wind picked up and, after arranging that good suit of feathers, he up and took off, just like that. And to boot, there are, on this planet alone, something like 2 million naturally occurring sweet things, some with names so generous as to kick the steel from my knees. Agave, persimmon, stickball, the purple okra I bought for $2 at the market. Think of that. The long night, the skeleton in the mirror, the man behind me on the bus taking notes. Yeah. But look, my niece is running through a field, calling my name. My neighbor sings like an angel, and at the end of my block is a basketball court. I remember. My color is green. I'm spring. For Walter Akins. Your next prompt is to write a poem about your own color and name. Try to make it a positive one. As promised, I'm closing today's video with another prompt. I'm participating in the Authors Take Action Climate Poem Project. You can find links to climate poetry prompts from your favorite children's authors and poets in the link I'll leave in the description. And here's my Earth Day prompt. Write a poem about your oldest and most distinct memory of a weather event. Place either yourself or a favorite fictional character in the scene, and end the poem on a hopeful note. Potential weather events could include storms, floods, droughts, tornadoes, really anything. Thanks so much for watching another week of National Poetry Month. I will see you next week for the fourth and final week. Have a great weekend. Bye.